Israel has launched more airstrikes into Lebanon after allies including the US and the EU called for a temporary ceasefire. Israel's aerial bombardments have claimed more than 600 lives this week. Israel says it's carrying out precision strikes against Hezbollah militants. Israel's army chief has said that preparations are underway for a possible ground invasion. Let's cross over to Beirut, where our bureau chief Mohammed TR is joining us now. Mohammed, what is the situation like in Lebanon this morning?
It's a morning for a country where that's the situation, that's the general mood here in Beirut. The main streets are almost empty, and that's very unusual for a Friday, but the internal neighborhoods are very crowded due to the tens of thousands of refugees who have fled their homes and are renting apartments here in the capital or staying at family and friends. Everyone is anticipating the latest developments on the front line and how this may unfold. People yesterday had hoped that a European-American proposal for a ceasefire would bring some stability and people could take a break, but that is obviously still seems to be far-fetched, at least for now. As the military confrontation between Gaza and Israel keep growing on the border.
Israel's airstrikes have also targeted locations in Beirut, and as you say, tens of thousands of refugees have come into the city. How is Beirut coping with all this?
Well, personal initiatives and volunteers are working round the clock to fill in so many gaps that the government couldn't manage to fill for so many reasons, but mainly the lack of preparedness and readiness to take in this influx of refugees. So individual and collective efforts are trying to offer accommodation, food, and basic needs for the people who have fled their homes in the south and in the Bekaa region. Mainly this really shows some sort of solidarity at this levels on the human aspect, as the country is really very divided on the political spectrum, and this war is further dividing the Lebanese when it comes to big strategic decisions. But the priority now is to help the refugees.
What is the militant group Hezbollah saying about the possibility of an Israeli ground invasion?
A ground invasion was most welcomed by Chief Hassan Nasrallah. The militant group leader said, "Make no mistake, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for." The group cannot defy Israel's aerial superiority and advanced technology, but it believes that a ground operation is its battlefield, its field of expertise, so to say. So there's no doubt that Gaza received huge blows over the past few days, the device explosions and the killing of senior leadership, but it is still a very powerful militant group with a wide channels of tunnels and thousands of rockets and soldiers at its disposal.
As Israel prepares for a possible ground invasion in Lebanon, it faces a challenge that could prove more difficult than the situation in Gaza. The militant group Hezbollah has been preparing for such an offensive for years with an extensive network of tunnels backed by missiles.
The Israeli army has carried out more than 2,000 strikes in Lebanon since the start of the week, but it appears no closer to stopping Hezbollah firing rockets over the border and allowing northern Israel residents to return to towns like this one that have been almost emptied by near daily attacks. Now, with tanks heading to the border, it seems Israel is preparing to send in ground forces to try and achieve what air power hasn't. You will go in and destroy the enemy there. This is What will allow us to safely return the residents of the north afterwards? Israeli officials have made clear that their aim is to force Hezbollah back across Lebanon's Lani River, creating the buffer zone that the UN Security Council called for back in 2006 at the end of the last war between Israel and the group. The area is a stronghold of Hezbollah. While the group has been weakened by Israel's killings of senior commanders, it is still thought to have between 40 and 50 Th-000 fighters, as well as an arsenal of 150,000 rockets. Hezbollah is also believed to have built an extensive tunnel network, as seen in its propaganda videos like this one. According to Israeli estimates, it could cover hundreds of kilometers. Experts say Hezbollah will likely prove even more of a challenge than Hamas.
Hezbollah forces are far more better hardened. They are much more sophisticated in terms of how they operate up more independently, because they operate also like Hamas in a way, but obviously Hamas has never been in this high intensity combat before. Most of the Hamas forces has, while the ADF is obviously prepared for years for this war, and they do know how costly it's going to be.
But the Lebanese people will also be forced to pay the price of any ground invasion. Last week's attacks have already killed hundreds, while tens of thousands more have fled from their homes in southern Lebanon in search of safety. Those who have made it to shelter, like here in Beirut, have little faith in the prospect of a ceasefire. Thanks for watching this video.